Mm-hmm. So if it is a problem.
I did it when we were practicing like last month or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Matt kept talking to himself down here, and I'm like, look up there, buddy. Yep. I've stopped calling you Tom now, so that's a plus.
Sometimes.
I have not called you Tom for a while now. Eric screwed up names the other day.
Are we on things or no? Because it
They're
doesn't
basically
show
just
me
tall
the
and
name
have
that
dark
we're on
hair. They don't even
anything.
look that much alike.
I know.
Give it a minute. Might not
Who was
My
the-
mom still calls
What
me
was I
Ken.
calling? Oh, Casey. I was calling Katie the other day for some
We're
reason.
live.
At least they sound alike.
Because it
I
doesn't
could
tell me
get it.
that we are over here.
Oh, we're
Not
on
great,
YouTube.
Okay. We're on the YouTubes.
Well, someone just
So we're live
commented-
now?
Jason just commented hello. So
Jason who?
Hi, Jason.
he's we are apparently on the YouTubes.
Nice.
Outstanding.
Are we?
Are
Where
we
are
on
you
the
going?
Twitches?
Where are you checking? Are you checking Twitch?
No, I'm on Facebook.
Is it
Facebook's
barbecue,
good.
Jason?
Okay.
Okay. Barbecue Jason or other
No.
Jason?
Oh, okay.
The one person that watches on Twitch is going to be a little upset.
If barbecue Jason messaged in there, tell him to call me. He owes me a call.
Adam said we're good everywhere.
Okay.
Excellent. Very
We are.
good.
We are. I
Right.
am on Twitch, and yes, we are.
Okay. You ready to go, Mr. Mack?
I am. I'm good. We're good.
All right. Good. You ready?
I'm ready.
Lovely.
Born ready.
Howdy, boys and girls. Welcome to Kilts and Culture. I am Rocky. This is not Eric. He's grown hair. He's turned younger.
It's a wig.
Darker beard.
Pulls right out.
Yes. Eric is feeling a bit under the weather today, and rather than sit in a room and get us all sick since we do the show unmasked, he decided to not be here. And Mr. Ian is sitting in for him. And behind the board over there, if he wants to bring himself in.
Hey, there I am.
So it's the all kilt makery show.
Yeah, we haven't done an edition of this in a long time.
Oh no?
But rest in peace, Eric. One love. We'll miss you.
Pour out from the homies.
We don't pour out things on this show.
Fair
Don't be
point.
ridiculous.
We'll pour them down our
Other than
gullet.
maybe water.
Indeed. Okay. Now, today, special treat. I really wanted to do that smooth. I hope that came out good.
We're gonna find out.
We are going to try the best Highland single malt Scotch whiskey that money can buy.
Probably.
Kirkland's. This was given us to fan of the show, Adam Marnock. Thank you very much, Adam. A while ago, we asked about Aldi. Aldi has the supermarket brand Aldi has their own Scotch brand or their own Scotch that's like award winning. We're like, what? That's crazy. And either we talked about Aldi and or Kirkland's, i.e. like the Costco brand, Kirkland's. So Adam dropped this off for us, and gonna give it a go. See what we got.
So frequently, grocery store brand versions of products are sometimes like the more famous brand name just repackaged. Do we think that's the case for this one, or do we know? Or there?
I have no idea.
We'll see if it's good. I haven't had any yet.
Yeah, it's Costco, so they're big, so they probably got money to throw at something
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Like I know Wegmans brand stuff is really good. You love Wegmans, so yeah. So who knows? We're gonna give it a shot.
Yeah.
All right. So it's
Should point out that our friend Adam Marnock was I believe the first purchaser when the Celtic Nations muted order went live.
he was. It's lovely. All right.
Not that I'm paying attention to such things.
Never. You would never. You're not impatient at all. All right, Mr. Mack. What tartan do you have on there while you're there, Mr. Don't-
Whoa, Trigger. We almost had an accident.
I didn't almost have an accident. I handed you the thing. It's not my fault. You can't take glass out of my hand. So what tartan you got on there?
I have on the Leinster Crest tartan.
Very
What
nice.
tartan does Ian have on today?
Ian, what tartan do you have
I
on today?
have the Angel Share Scotch Whiskey Tartan.
Very nice.
Mentioned
Very
briefly
nice.
in the January show.
Yes, make sure you keep looking at it in the monitor.
Yeah, well, I gotta remember which one I'm wearing.
I have on the Stewart Old Wilson's Bannockburn tartan from Strathmore, 13 ounce. Love it, indeed. Yes. See you, Mac.
Bye-bye.
All right, Mr. Ian,
Thank you.
give you one of these. Now, are we gonna do? I guess we'll start. I want to try both with water and without water, just to see, give it a little something. So, on the nose. Now, there's a thing that people compare Isla Scotches to. It's kind of disgusting in a weird way, but I'm going to say it anyway. What does this smell like to you, Mac or Ian?
I think I know what your answer is to the question. It just smells smoky. It smells like a classic Islay Scotch to me.
Okay, Mac.
The
It's
witness is being led here for me, so I can see where they're going with some of this stuff.
I believe the answer you're
Mac
looking
has
for.
the tasting
Yeah.
disorder.
The answer you're looking for is Band-Aids.
Correct.
Yeah.
It smells like a Band-Aid. Tell me, do you agree?
I've never agreed with that. I've heard that before, but I don't think I've ever entirely agreed.
Okay. Do you agree?
I can see it.
Okay. Now here's the next follow-up question. Because we sussed this out a little bit with the production guys the other day, not Kilt production, but video production stuff. When you were young, did you have plastic Band-Aids for your boo-boos, or did you have the cloth
Oh,
Band-Aids?
no, you gotta have the cloth ones.
See, we
Yeah.
weren't a cloth Band-Aid type money family like Ian over here.
Okay.
Mac, did you have the plastic Band-Aids?
I was allergic to the adhesive on the Band-Aids, so I didn't get Band-Aids.
Mac bled
So
out.
Mom said, "Rub dirt in it, boy."
Pretty much.
banana peel on it.
Yeah.
we had the classic. Now it could also be age thing when Band-Aid came out with the plastic versus the cloth Band-Aids.
I've definitely had both.
Yeah. To me, 100%, this smells like Band-Aids. It's
Okay.
there's an odor that brings you back to childhood and your owies.
Is it like artificial banana versus banana flavor, where it's like, this is artificial Band-Aid flavor?
That I'm not sure of. Okay. Let's give it a little taste. Do you like Islay Scotches?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Mac. It tastes like Band-Aids too. It's
It's
It's like burning the back of my throat a little bit more than I'm used to. with
yeah,
these.
it's smoky on the front and it's sharp in the
Like
back.
a hot alcoholic. Yeah.
is that like the mullet of scotches? Smoky in the front and sharp in the back. I really wanted that to come out your nose.
There wasn't enough in there.
Damn.
That was good though.
Yeah. I get a little bit of the alcohol burniness.
Yeah.
It's definitely smoky. The smoky dissipates reasonably quickly. It dissipates, but then like lingers at a lower level.
Yeah.
So, Ian, you may make a connection to this. So, from the tasting notes I have here on the palate, smoked vanilla and pear, as it moved to the middle, flavors of salted caramel, ginger, citrus, and then when it went to the back, tobacco leaf, clove, and ginger.
That
The tobacco
sounds
leaf
amazing.
is where,
Yeah. You said
Tobacco,
that.
I get. Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
That harshness.
yeah.
What now with all those flavors?
Yeah. No.
I was not sophisticated. I don't think I get all that.
No. I don't get all that either. No. I'm gonna pour a little bit of water in now. See if we can open it up. In fairness, we did not let it sit and breathe for a period of time. So we're just gonna do a little bit of water. Just a droppy poo. All right. Usually the water cuts it and it brings the more subtle stuff out, and like it'll
So I'm looking for pears and ginseng and what all else?
yeah.
Tobacco, barbecue.
Seafood.
Okay. Smells different already. Smells more like Band-Aids, if anything, though. I think I'm getting it now.
Water cut it down, but it's still reasonably overpowering Scotch or smoke. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It definitely cut the sharpness out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cut the sharpness. I
Didn't
agree.
cough this time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now it's more of a bob than a mullet.
Dad Ain't Hip on YouTube said that we should let it breathe for 6 months or until it completely evaporates.
Fair point.
Okay.
And you said the price of this was how much?
About $40.
About $40. I wanted to look. It was a gift, so it's rude to look at the price of stuff. But
Sorry,
I was
Adam.
more curious about what it cost compared to other things. Now,
Lagavulin it ain't.
correct. This actually reminds me of we didn't try it before the show. I smelled it, but I didn't try it before the show. What this reminds me of more than Lagavulin would be like either Ardbeg or Laphroaig 10, a little bit harsher than Lagavulin. But we wanted to be minorly scientific because we're so professional and scientific about these things. So we're going to try a bit of Lagavulin with the Laphroaig here, or with Laphroaig, with the Kirklands. So, Kirklands, now, for the glasses. USA Kilts logo is the Kirklands. No logo is going to be Lagavulin.
Okay. So the one that this reminds me of the most, actually, is, I don't know if it's a different variant, but I recently had some Taliskers that this reminds me of. It's, I think for $40, I think the price is right. Like, this doesn't feel like not a good enough Scotch to be $40.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to pour a ton of the Lagavulin here. We just need to compare a touch. I don't want to get too sloppy on the show before we get into it.
Yeah, maybe it'll make for better entertainment.
Oh, here. We already showed you. You're fine. Yeah. There you go. All right. And we're going to, since it's already cut with water, we'll cut the other with water as well.
Okay.
Just a tiny bit. And I realize I'm probably pouring more than a tiny bit for some people, but don't care. Okay. It almost has no odor.
To me, I'm getting a little bit of sweetness, more than I'd expect for this. I don't think of Lagavulin as a sweet Scotch, but I guess maybe just compared to the more harshness of that one.
Yeah, it's definitely more mellow. Yeah, I know.
Definitely, I'm getting more of the tobacco note now that I'm comparing on the original.
Okay.
Very very strong tobacco note when I'm comparing.
All right.
The Kirkland's is a lot smokier in the smell, and this is definitely sweeter.
Mm-hmm.
A hush falls over the curtain.
We're finally achieving our final form, just double fisting scotches on the show.
Color, Lagavulin is definitely darker. I taste more like charcoal-y kind of in the Lagavulin.
It's more peaty.
Yeah, peaty and earthy, definitely.
The other one just
Less smoke, just more peat.
The other one just reminds me of a smokehouse.
Yeah, or wasn't there one like we had like Smoky Bones or something from like
Yeah,
over a year
no,
ago?
it was not
Smokehead.
that. It's not that
Smokehead.
far, but yeah.
Okay.
Here you go. House on fire, house after fire. That's,
Yeah.
Yes, I'll allow it.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the best comparison. Now, $80, $90 for Lagavulin, $40 for Kirkland's.
I don't think either's a wrong choice. If you've got Lagavulin money, do the Lagavulin. But
I agree. Is it?
If you got Kirkland money,
but if you've been getting those cloth Band-Aids all your life, maybe go for some Lagavulin. But if you're a plastic Band-Aid kind of person, maybe go for the Kirklands.
Sorry. Yeah, it's for the money. It's I would say it's priced about right.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised it's $40. I would expect $30-$35, that kind of level from Costco. I would expect more of a deal where it's like it's a better quality for a lower price.
Yeah.
Maybe, if I'm
hear
being
you.
honest, that could be my prejudice towards Costco, or liking of Costco. I don't know, but it holds its own at the $40 price point. If we put a different label on this, I'd be like, yeah, it's $40 Scotch. Mac, what are your thoughts?
I agree with you on that. Like it's if this showed up at a party,
Yeah,
I wouldn't have any problem. Like whatever, just throw her back.
Yeah.
But if I just wanted to get something just to have around, yeah, this is fine for that.
sure. Yeah, it's something. It's It's an Isla, so it's an acquired taste. Not everyone who likes
Yeah.
Scotch will like it. If you're not sure, if you don't like smoke and peat kind of flavors, then I would not recommend this, period. But I wouldn't recommend Lagavulin to you either. All right.
So if you're going to try one for the first time, maybe a Lagavulin or at least a Lafroig would be a better place to start, just to
For an Isla.
see what's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Agreed.
an Isla.
All right. Mac, score 1 to 10. What do you got?
I'm gonna go 5.9, kind of right in the middle. Little bit more on the other side of the road, but sort of down the middle.
5.9. Okay. All right. Now, are we including the price consideration in that 5.9,
That's what I'm struggling with as I'm
Yeah.
thinking of a number.
or is it's just 5.9? We're just
I was going 5.9. I'm just gonna go
5.9.
Just gonna
Okay.
go.
I was thinking 6.1, and I think I'm giving it some extra points for being a good value for the price. I would buy this. I would drink this.
Okay. Yeah. My tastes have kind of changed a little bit as I've tried more scotches. So I'm a little bit less Isla, a little bit less smoky peaty now than I used to be. So I'm trying to give it a fair score, knowing that I would have scored Lagavulin much higher way back when. I think Max, I'm around the same kind of ballpark as Mac. I'd say like 5.7.
Okay.
It's better than average. If I'm going to include the price thing, I'd probably score a little bit higher, but just on the base, not even thinking about the price, 5.7.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I think we're all in the same ballpark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cluster, as it were.
I think my preference, if I'm at the store, and this is implying a liquor store here, not Costco, 'cause we can't get this at the Costco here. But if I've got Lagavulin, Lafroig, and this as options, I think most times I'm going for the Lafroig. I'm going that middle road. Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, this is fine. I do
I
not
would say
turn my
this-
nose up at a gift, especially from our
Yeah,
good friend
no,
Adam.
no, absolutely not. We asked for it. We want to try like weird stuff that we can't get and cheap stuff that whatever and expensive stuff. I'm not
Let's
price
not
shaming.
rule it out.
If you want to give me that $1,000 bottle of Macallan, feel free. But no, yeah. I'm pleasantly surprised that it was good, and not oh, yeah, that's Costco Scotch, all right, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So nice. Cheers. All right, boys and girls, you know the drill. Load in the questions, whatever you got. Yeah, my thing will slowly slide away there.
I was hoping you were going to go for just the same smooth motion again.
Yeah, it's difficult pulling from the outside. I'm real sneaky with that. Slick. I'm more proud of myself than I should be to figure out how to slide something into view of the camera. All right.
It'd be really impressive when you leave via the elevator at the end of the show.
Exactly. I'm just do the down the stairs thing. All right, boys and girls, load your questions in the comments. If you have any thing you want to know about Highlandware or anything in general, we are but your humble servants to answer whatever questions you have, period. Start off, Mr. Ian, why don't you give us one of the preloaded ones?
Sure. I'm going to share a question from Stephen Matthews. He says, recently Rocky was talking about weavers and mentioned how the craft is dying out and they're looking for people to hand it down to. Where would one start to look into that? And if a person were to learn the craft of wool weaving, would it be ethical to take up that skill and open up a weaving house here in the U.S.?
Okay. I will backpedal. I don't think I said it's dying out. I would say that it's if I did say it's dying out, then I said it. But I don't think it's dying. It's still alive. It's still thriving. But it is a much smaller thing than it was 100 years ago or so. Is it ethical to do it in the U.S.? Well, let's start with, first of all, weaving is done. So, like, done as in it is still done on a regular basis. People do weave. They're home weavers. My wife had a nice, weaving or loom and treadle and stuff. So it is still done. There are people who weave things all the time. There are different countries that things are woven in. Now, in the U.S., and Mac, you can bring yourself in for this as well. We were 10 years ago, 12 years, well, a while ago. We were looking at different places to get things woven, specifically tartan. Now we're going to talk about tartan. So we can all agree things are still woven in the U.S., in the anywhere in the world, but tartan for the most part is just woven in Scotland and the U.K. I'll say. We were trying to see if we could have certain things or small runs of things done in the U.S. just exploring all possibilities. There's a company called Heritage Weavers, which I know you know the owner as well. I think you're actually the one who brought him up to me, right?
Yeah, the family heirloom weavers.
Family Heirloom Weavers.
Yep.
Thank you. Not Heritage Weavers. My bad. So we contacted them, and we're talking about. I was talking to him. He sent me a piece of black watch cloth that he actually had woven, and somebody had made into a kilt or a great kilt, I think, for that one.
Yeah.
And we kind of got to talking about the viability of could he be able to do some custom weaves for us and stuff like that. And the problem that he said in that phone, were you on the phone call with me or no?
I don't think I was on the phone call with you, but I've talked to Pat numerous times about other things.
Fair. He kind of clued me into some of the struggles that he has as a business and the industry in the U.S. specifically. He has a huge building, warehouse, whatever you want to call it, and it has a lot of different looms, and he does a lot of different stuff. The problem that he has is in the supporting industries. So you have him doing the weaving, but he doesn't dye the yarn. So the yarn that he gets either has to be dyed elsewhere, or he has to buy stock supported colors and that kind of thing. Once he is done with the cloth, he used to get it finished, like all the mills do. The problem is his finisher just kind of, went bust. He said that there was a finisher in, I think, New Jersey or something, he said. And the problem would be for him to weave stuff for us, he would have to go from that, his facility, ship all the cloth over to New Jersey, ship it back, and that would add, X, Y, and Z to the cost of the cloth. So it ends up being basically not tenable, not sustainable for a business model. He talked about the cloth sample he sent us to the black watch looked nice, and it's what's called in the grease, which is it's basically not finished, or the lanolin was still from the wool was still in the fibers. So it's not great for making a kilt. It's kind of how it would have been a couple hundred years ago. So it would have been nice for a great kilt, but not nice for to compare to House of Edgar cloth today, or Martin Mills or Loch Herring, that kind of thing. So it's one of those where, yes, would it be great to be able to have the mill in the U.S.? Sure, I would love to buy tartan locally and not to pay import duties. Can it be done? Yes, but not really, because the supporting industries, the other things, the ancillary businesses that are required to get it done aren't there anymore. So this kind of underscores the point of this is why we want to support Scottish industry, why we want to support the Scottish mills and the English mills and all the stuff over there is because they had a huge industry in weaving as well, specifically in the Highlands and the borders as well. But if you stop buying from them, if you only start buying cheap stuff, and one or two or three of the mills go bust, then the supporting companies, the dyers, the finishers, and those companies start hurting, then they go bust. And then the other mills that are still around, they can't have their cloth finished, so now they're running into problems. And you're kind of hollowing out the industry, which is why it must be supported in order to make it go forward, which is why they need more than just people in Scotland buying kilts, which is why they need the entire diaspora to buy all this stuff. This is also why we only buy things from the UK, because if we bought everything from China, Pakistan, all that kind of stuff, it's great because it's exposing people at a lower price point to wearing kilts. But if that's all they're exposed to and that's all people are buying, then the upper stuff kind of goes away, and then nobody has that option at all. So it's a difficult one. I don't think it is immoral to open a mill. I don't think it's immoral to weave tartan outside of the UK, but you still must support the UK, and you also have to have, as a business model, the supporting industry to be able to do what you want to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Any thoughts?
So if, say our friend Stephen wants to attempt to open his own mill, has he considered vertical integration? Could he bring dye lots and finishing into his own? Why does the industry in Scotland not do it all in one place? Why do they go to a separate finisher and get stuff from a separate dye house?
Because ultimately it's its own industry. Mm-hmm. It's it's a whole different process. Weaving is just machines going boom, 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 and shooting stuff back and forth. I'm oversimplifying. But dyeing yarns, you need huge vats, you need chemical balances, you need, all this different stuff. You need, source for raw materials and things like that. For finishing, you need different types of equipment to be able to do that. So that's the reason why it's not typically done all in one facility. Now, I know that a couple of the mills, and I don't know which ones, so I'm not even going to hazard a guess. I believe 2 mills bought part ownership of one of either the dye houses or the finishers in Scotland, to be able to prop them up.
Okay.
To make like 2 of the mills, at least 2 of the mills use the same company, and the company was like, yeah, we're having problems. So the mills kind of got together and said, okay, well, we're going to, rescue you to make sure we have a place to get our stuff done.
Yeah.
So they own part of it. I know I was talking to Martin Mills the other day, and they are they're the biggest customer for their dyer, and several of the people who work for Martin Mills sit on the board at the dyer to make sure that everything is going well, so that dyer doesn't go away. Therefore, they have a consistent place to get their yarns dyed. So they are different businesses. It's kind of like, why doesn't Ford go into the electronics business to make radios for their cars? It's not what they do. They work on engines. They don't work on radios. Kind of make sense?
Yeah.
It's ancillary. They need the radios, but if Pioneer or Alpine is making a damn good head unit, why would Ford try to make their own when they can just buy it from Pioneer?
Well, this was the answer in the American economy in like the late 1800s. Is those robber barons just went vertical integration, did all of it up and down.
Yes. If you're big enough, if you're strong enough, if you can, sure, it makes sense. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. It's you're providing a level of insulation for your business. It's kind of like the Apple business model, where everything is all insular, and Apple, you have to buy all Apple products for it all to work together, and they don't allow people to monkey with their stuff. But it's not, I don't know where I'm going with it, but
Fair
yes,
enough.
Vertical integration can work, but if it's not your forte and you know your limitations and you don't really want to get into it, or you can't get into it for financial reasons, it makes sense.
Okay.
Be better at one thing versus okay at multiple things.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you have that there and those people already exist and are doing a good job, it's better to just to pay them to do it and not take on all that responsibility, and pay them well to do it, and then help prop them up if they need it in the long term kind of thing.
Okay.
Cool. No, good question now. Very good. Mr. Mack.
All right, so we have Joseph asking, now that we've had a little bit of drink in us, he'd like to know, how common are reverse pleats? I prefer the straps where they are, but I always swipe to sit with the left hand, and the pleats would kind of reverse. So he's wondering how often do we make kilts with pleats
Pleated
going
the other direction, so
direction?
counterclockwise, or clockwise, not counterclockwise.
So do you swipe left or swipe right, Rocky, on this question?
See, I'm old and married, so I don't know what you're supposed to do in a dating app.
either.
I'd swipe up. The part of it now, Mac. You could maybe shed some light if there's a historical reason why they go one direction versus the other. It probably evolved from right-hand sewers versus left-hand sewers, is my guess.
I would think the same thing.
These are guesses. This is not a for sure. These are guesses. When you're making a kilt on a sewing machine, like we do, like an industrial sewing machine, it's easier to do it from one way. Well, I guess you could actually just fold the thing the other way, but like if you're doing a Premiere, you could just fold it the other direction.
Yeah.
But the arm of the sewing machine, the arm of the sewing machine goes this way, and you're working underneath the arm of the sewing machine. So the bulk of the stuff that you have sewn is out to the side. If you're sewing it backwards, like a women's kilted skirt, some of them run the other direction. You end up kind of like balling it up and shoving it underneath the arm of the machine as you're sewing, and it just becomes more cumbersome to work with.
It's definitely trickier to do it that way.
Yeah. So you're doing it backwards. So that would be my guess. Why it's done one direction. Could you do it the other direction? Sure. It's not done that way, but is there anything stopping you? No. Have at it.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I'd agree. That was exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, you could do it, but it'd be a lot of bulk in all the wrong places.
Yeah.
Like some of us.
I've got bulk in the wrong place and whiskey in the whiskey.
Notice I passed on the opportunity to specifically make fun of Mac that time. I'm getting better.
Fair enough. We never make fun of each other here. We have a horrible time. It's horrible. All right, Mr. Ian, next question.
Yep, I've got one here from Will Cooper. He wants to know, is it acceptable from a traditional standpoint to wear a 5-yard kilt with a PC? I'm a high school student without any sort of stable employment, so I'm on a budget.
Sure. You can put that thing down if you like. You don't have to hold it the whole show. You can
Just kind of check it off
Just
first. If
check
that's
it off.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Make sure I don't ask Will Cooper's question twice.
Okay, fair. He would like you to. Like, oh, twice, nice.
Sorry, Will. Let you down this time.
So what was the question again? 5-yard. Can you
Should
wear
I-
a
should I
5-yard
read
with
it
a PC? Can you wear a 5-yard kilt with a PC, or for formal? Sure. Frankly speaking, the vast majority of people who are looking at a kilt don't know whether it is a well-made kilt or a cheap kilt. Once you get into different types of fabric, you can kind of tell, or the coloration of like
Yeah.
a neon color versus a nice wool color and that kind of thing, you can kind of tell. But a 5-yard to an 8-yard kilt, most people are not able to tell the difference. And historically speaking, kilts were not 8 yards up until the I'm going to guess, 20s, 30s, 40s. Before then, it was a lower yardage kilt. Yeah, so I don't see any reason why you would have to get an 8-yard kilt for formal. Do they swing a little bit nicer? Yes. If you have the money, should you do it? Because you want the nicest thing available. Sure, absolutely. But don't discount a 5-yard kilt. It's nice. It's a slightly better balance front to back, and it's less expensive. And you can still get it in the same array of tartans that you get an 8-yard kilt in.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say if you're overly picky about how it's pleated, you have to have an 8-yard kilt. But
That's a fair point.
and it also just going to depend on how stuffy the event you're going to is. I know the very first time I ever wore my first kilt was for my wedding. And me and the groomsmen were wearing kilts, and the piper we hired may have known the difference. Nobody else at my wedding knew anything about kilts. I could have worn a polyviscose casual kilt, and nobody would have said a darn thing.
Yep.
But yeah, if you're going to a big, a stuffy event where everybody's wearing kilts and everybody's, dressed to the nines, they might notice. But I don't know. Do you?
Even then,
Yeah, most people aren't.
a couple things. Number one, even then, they probably won't notice. I've been to some
Not because
pretty
they can't, but they're not paying that close attention.
both.
Okay.
I would say most of them don't know the difference, even as stuffy as it is, because they're just normal humans too. They just have stuffier events. But on top of that, they also probably wouldn't say anything because it's kind of rude. Like, hey, is that only a 5-yard kilt? Oh,
Oh,
you're
gross.
one of those.
Somebody let a pour in here.
But yeah, it's not that big of a thing as long as it's a nice looking it's made from good quality cloth. Yeah, I don't see any issue with it.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
Indeed.
Wore a 5-yard kilt at my wedding,
Yeah, nice.
made by this guy.
I'm the one who ruined him, got him into it, made him come work for us. Mr. Mac.
All right, so we have TJ asking, which tartans are we going to wear on St. Patrick's Day this year?
I don't know.
You assume I think a lot
Yeah.
further in the future than I do.
I haven't decided what tartan I'm wearing tomorrow.
I haven't decided which videos we're going to shoot for St. Patrick's Day, much less which tartan I'm going to wear. I'd probably say let's do this. What's your go-to if it's going to be an Irish tartan? What's your go-to? Mac, we'll start with you. Go-to Irish tartan.
The one I would go to right
the one
off
you have
the
on?
bat, it would. What's that?
The one you have on? Or no, I know what. No, down.
Yeah, down.
Down with the sickness.
Or the other one I would grab would be the County Limerick.
County Limerick. Okay.
That's a good one. It's a good one.
Okay.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Not bad. Mr. Ian.
I own 2 Irish tartans. I own the County Roscommon, which I think I'm going to avoid because of all the orange on St. Patrick's Day.
Fair.
So I think I might go Tyrone, which is largely like a maroon burgundy in that family of
and
colors.
tan.
Not particularly St.
Irish
Patrick's in
feeling?
any way,
Yeah.
but doesn't look Irish to somebody who doesn't know, but it is an Irish county tartan, so it's fair game.
Okay.
If I'm going to go based on colors alone, I tend to go for a blue tartan, though. Represent the actual color that is represented by St. Patrick, not the green of the island in general.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's
I know
fair.
I have gone that approach before.
Spoilers.
Oh, sorry. Is that a question coming later?
No. The just the green, not in blue.
I would say for me, and if was it Cameron Waldron wants the county crest Kildare, I would wear the county crest Kildare if I'm going to see Cameron Waldron just to tick him off. Is that who it is?
I think so.
It's one of them.
So we should go fly down to Arizona just to
Annoy him,
just to
needle
flaunt
him,
it in front of
a
him.
little bit, twist the knife. County leash is probably my current favorite. It's brown and light blue and light red kind of thing. So I'm digging on that one. But Kildare, County Crest Kildare is another one of my favorites.
It's a good one.
So it is. It is.
good one.
I don't know if
Somebody
I
should
still
weave it.
I don't know if I still fit in my County Kildare crest, but it's
I wonder if Cameron's just a few sizes below you.
No, that dude's he's reasonably buff and skinny. But yeah. All right. So yeah, that's what we're wearing. Maybe, kind of, sort of, if we feel like it. Mr. Ian.
All right, I've got a question here from Brian M. Watson. I think it may have been asked before, but the swords on the wall, are they functional with full tang or just wall hangers? And where did you get them from?
Yes, I've actually killed 3 people with those swords.
People ask the wrong questions.
Exactly. People that ask about the swords.
Or County Kildare Crest.
Number 1 rule of Sword Club. You don't talk about Sword Club. Ian from Armor Class. No, not this Ian. The guy who made our swords was a guy named Ian from a company called Armor Class in Glasgow. When we went to redesign the studio back in 2019, we were looking for really, really cool original art pieces, but not just the crappy wall hanger. Something that actually looked good and was made well and supports small artisans. So the Targe was actually made by a company called New World Kilts or Northwest Kilts. NW Kilts. He's on Etsy. He makes some really awesome stuff. I forget his name. Memory is not my strong suit. Ian is the guy who made our swords from Armor Class. They're based in Glasgow. A couple of our guys that were here in the shop at the time, or employees at the time, did a lot of sword fighting and did a lot of research on good quality sword makers that are current, because they didn't want to just buy cheap stuff. And they were the ones that turned me on to Armor Class and said, look, this dude makes the real deal. He makes good quality stuff. Go check him out. So Armor Class is where we got the swords for the studio. And we bought broadswords because it's very, very Scottish. And check that, basket hilt swords. And I don't typically like the look of basket hilt swords. It looks very weird to me. But this one particularly, this one up there, I dug the look of enough that I was like, okay, that looks good. Got the Targe, got the basket hilts, boom, done.
So full tang.
Sure, I believe so. Full tang means
You don't want to do 3/4 tang.
that the sword the sword tapers down to a small bit, and the tang, which is the little bit on the end, goes all the way into the handle, all the way down to the base. So I'm not sure whether it's a full tang. I know what tang means. I'm not sure if it's a full tang, but sure, I believe so. Armor Class does good quality stuff, so I would assume that it is, but that is me assuming. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I prefer Wu-Tang.
See, I just
I don't
prefer
have from the production.
I just prefer tang. Armor
We
Class
have-
tang ain't nothing to F with.
You almost said it. The reality is we have so many sword people that work here. If Rocky didn't buy a good sword, he would have been run out of the company. I don't know what it is. There's a strong crossover between sword people and people that want to work here.
Ready? Claymores rule everything around me. Cream get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. Throwing out to my Wu-Tang peeps. Yes. Next month, Grave Diggers. 6 feet deep. All right. Enough of the 90s gangster rap. Let's go. Mac, please deliver us from this hip-hop hell.
All right, so we're gonna go from hip hop to
Didn't know I was that deep, did you?
I would have guessed.
we're gonna go to short kilts now. So we have a different Mac, not this one, a different one, asking. I've
not gonna
seen
judge.
photos / paintings of men wearing kilts 2 to 3 inches above the knee. Why do we have a standard at the knee? And is it okay to wear it like an inch or two above?
The
Just sit back and watch.
I love how Ian is like entertained by me squirming. That's for the record.
It's funny.
Yes, traditionally, historically, kilts were worn above the knee. If your kilt gets wet, if you're hiking in tall, wet grass, and your kilt gets wet, the wool, swinging at the back of your legs can actually cut into the back of your knee. So it's uncomfortable. So the higher you wear, and that's because it's very, very sensitive skin right behind the knee. So if you have your kilt a little bit shorter and it's hitting the back of the leg, the skin back there is a little bit less sensitive. So it's not going to just cut at it. There's, I remember stories of guys, walking through the tall grass with their kilts sawing at their back of the legs so that they're bleeding, kind of thing. And I'm not even exaggerating. So traditionally, yes, historically speaking, yes, the kilt could be worn, an inch or two above the knee. 3 inches, it's a little bit much, but
I've seen paintings. I've seen some things.
I don't want to know about your Pornhub account, Ian. But yes, the kilt can be worn a little bit above the knee. I just outed you. It's so awesome. I
Really like Outlander. What can I say?
Exactly. I'm not kidding you, bro. So now, current day, the common consensus is a kilt is worn at either the top or the middle of the knee, not necessarily above the knee. Do some older gents still want to wear the kilt a little bit above the knee? Sure. But it's not how most people wear it today. Some people have been, especially with utility kilts and stuff like that, will wear kilts to the middle to the bottom of the knee. To me, that's right out. It's a bit too long. It starts looking like a woman's kilted skirt if you're covering the whole kneecap. So middle of the knee to top of the knee is my personal acceptable range. But if you went a little bit above the knee in a historical type costume, sure.
Impression.
Yeah, impression. Thank you. That's the way I was using it. But am I going to?
In the comments.
Understood. Am I going to cry if someone's wearing it, an inch above the knee? No. If that's what you want to do and that makes you feel comfortable and you have an issue with it sawing at the back of the leg, like some guys do, sure, have at it. But current day accepted length of kilt is to the knee, either top of knee or mid knee. Any thoughts on that, or have I exhausted the?
I think it's just a fashion and a trend kind of a thing now. It's been pretty consistent for many decades now, but it's gone higher, it's gone lower over time. We seem to have settled in at the ballpark of the knee for sure. I've seen some things, man. If you like it that way, that's fine. Some people do.
I like that. That's fine. I wouldn't do it, but that's fine.
I think the longer, especially if you're getting significantly down below the knee, tends to work better when you've got a great kilt, kind of like a bunched up, kind of like some of the guys in Albanock do.
Well, no, in fairness, they wear it to the knee in front. It's just longer in the back because they let it down.
It's been over 2 years since I've seen them. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So
just a little thing.
Maybe I'm misremembering, but it tends to work better with much more significantly modern type looks than it does with a more traditional kind of men's kilt like we sell kind of thing. Yeah.
Now there's fashion, kilts, whether we like it or not, are part of fashion. Now they evolve much slower than regular men's and women's fashion, but they do evolve over time.
Yeah.
If you think back to the late 1970s basketball players or they were wearing short shorts.
Yeah.
That would never fly today. Americans, especially Americans, would never wear shorts up that high. They'd all be called Daisy Dukes. And it's just not something that guys will wear at that height today. We all want to wear, shorts to our knees or just above the knee. So it's kind of the same thing on a much, much, much longer time scale, where it's going down, an inch or two to the top of the knee or mid knee.
I think kilts have probably also followed the trend that I think formal wear has kind of locked in a way, much more so than streetwear or casual wear has. Like, you look at men's suits, and they haven't changed very dramatically in several decades now. I know my wife and I recently hosted a murder mystery, and it was 80s prom themed. And I was struggling to find a jacket when I realized, I can just make the gray jacket suit that I have work. I just need to change the shirt. Now, I'm not saying there's no changes in men's formal dress.
The changes
But
are subtle.
Once some of the shoulder pad stuff of the 70s and the gigantic lapels went away, like, you can find vintage suits that look a lot like suits today. At least, especially when you compare to women's fashion or casual fashion. Yeah, it's subtle, the differences.
Yes, here's where I think you're wrong and 100% correct, both simultaneously. It's all cyclical. So it's going to go through changes like the pencil, the super skinny jeans, the super skinny pants, the tight-fitting suit jackets, that kind of stuff of the 50s, early 60s mod type thing. That, yes. Now, when you get into like the super wide lapels or the double-breasted dress jackets in the early to mid 80s or the the 70s kind of thing, that is not currently in fashion because we're still back in the 50s, 60s kind of thing. Eventually, God friggin' help us, it will come back into fashion, but hopefully a better twist on it. But it all comes cyclical. So you're right. I disagree with you that the 80s would still work to some degree, but yes, some old stuff can still be used and still look good currently.
Especially when you're talking more business looks than fashion-y looks.
Right.
Like, you could walk into a place of business and look at a suit from the 60s. It doesn't look that different from today.
Yeah. Or and frankly speaking, even the thing we always say, the Peaky Blinders, the Outlander, or not Outlander, check that, the Peaky Blinders and the Downton Abbey effect, which is tweed stuff is starting to come back in, and it's the look and the class and the suits and the cuts of that kind of stuff. Boardwalk Empire, all the stuff from the teens and the 20s, those fashion looks are awesome. I still love them. I was very, very, very tempted to buy a suit with that kind of look to it, Nucky Thompson kind of thing. I talked myself out of it because I would never freaking wear it. But I really, really wanted it.
Doesn't look great with a kilt.
Yeah, well, no, I thought about doing a tweed suit.
Right.
Just kind of a retro look. But A, I'm not skinny enough to pull it off. B, I wouldn't wear it that often. I'm not a suit guy, so
I think my takeaway from this is what you're telling our customers and our viewers is go ahead and get ahead of the cyclical trend now and start ordering your kilts 3 inches above the knee so that you're ready when the trend comes back around.
yes, and go to thrift shops and buy everything from the 80s and then just hold on to it for 50 years and you'll be fine. Yeah. And sure, that's my best advice ever. All right. What
Don't
do you
listen
got
to
for
that
the next
advice.
one?
It's
Not
terrible.
at all. Never listen to me.
So I've got a question here from Elliot McFadden. He says, thanks to you guys for inspiring me to become a serial kilter. While I've owned and worn a kilt for over 30 years, I only recently started making it a part of my regular wardrobe after discovering your show.
I'm very sorry. We've ruined you.
My condolences. My question is, could you combine a tweed or a modern cut kilt jacket with a utility kilt and maybe an Oxford shirt without a tie for a business casual look? He says he knows that a utility kilt is not traditional Highland wear, but he's thinking kind of a kilted equivalent of like a sport coat and chinos or jeans, something like that. Do you think this is a look he could pull off, you could pull off, anyone could pull off?
Okay. I want to clarify part of the question. He said a tweed jacket or a tweed or a contemporary cut kilt jacket. Mm-hmm. Mac, bring yourself in for this one. I'm gonna get your opinion on this too. So you little old you. Oh shucks, stop it. So
I feel like a third wheel here.
sorry, Ian. He has my heart. Now
It's your first love.
So what are your thoughts? Your thoughts on a regular suit jacket with a kilt, tartan or non-tartan?
You're talking just a regular standard off the
Regular
peg.
standard, not cut, not bastardized, not nothing. Just regular suit jacket with a kilt.
Too long.
Too long, even if it's a different style of kilt. I think you do need a higher cut to show off the goods. Gotta show off the goods.
I don't want to see your goods. So okay, so we're on the same page. So
Yeah.
let's assume he meant a tweed kilt jacket or a contemporary cut
Yeah.
kilt jacket, not a tweed suit jacket and kilt.
But we're also, I think, taking out of the equation something like an Argyle or a PC, which is a bit too formal for the look he's going for. We're looking for more of a
Okay, so
contemporary cut, right?
I agree. So either what we call our contemporary kilt jacket, a Wallace kilt jacket, or a tweed kilt jacket with a utility kilt. Mac, I know my answer. I want to hear your guys' opinions on it first before I chime in.
So
What are
we're-
your
We're
thoughts?
saying a Wallace jacket with a utility kilt.
Correct. Or a tweed jacket with a utility kilt.
Okay. I still think I know he made the comparison to like a suit jacket with
Chinos.
with a pair of jeans.
Mm-hmm.
I still look at like to me utility kilts are more on the lines of like cargo pants. In my opinion, again something to be beat up, something to work in, something. So I don't see that. To me, that combination doesn't work for me.
Okay. Ian.
Yeah, so I think when you're going for that jeans sport coat kind of business casual kind of look, you're not looking for an old beat up pair of jeans. You're looking for really nicely cut,
Yeah.
high end jeans. Typically is when this look is being pulled off well. And I think my feelings on doing this, I've never done it. I think trying to pull this off is very challenging, much like wearing jeans with your jacket. It's some people do it, some people pull it off nicely, and some people really don't. And I think you're riding a weird line. Try it and look in the mirror a bunch before you decide you're going to go out in public like that. I guess is my primary advice. I'm having a hard time picturing it.
Okay.
I don't know if it can be pulled. I won't rule it out entirely. I think if you're the type of person that can pull off any look and still look hot. I'm thinking of our friend Jonathan Kennedy. He pulls off some looks, and I look at him and I go, "Oh man, that's a great look for him. I should try that." And I go, "Wait, no. He's skinny and hot. He can get away with that. I can't get away with that. I'm not even gonna try."
You're hotter than him, Ian, to me.
Okay. As long as I stay within my lanes, though. Like, there's some people that can pull off any look and they just get away with it. And I think maybe that kind of person is the type of person who should try this. If you're not that type of person, maybe stick to something a little bit more traditional. Is my thinking.
Okay. Here's my thoughts on it. I don't like the look, but I think you could do it. But it depends on the utility kilt. If I'm gonna talk in the realm of the utility kilts, brand utility kilt, just A, because we like them, B, because they have a few different levels. If you were using their workman's kilt with saddlebag, cargo pocket kind of things, hammer loop, made for construction work. I don't know why I talk like that when I talk about utility kilts. Workman's kilt, rugged, yes, rugged.
Yes.
That would not work with a suit jacket or a tweed kilt jacket or a contemporary cut kilt jacket in the same way that you wouldn't wear cargo shorts with a suit jacket. If you're talking about like their mocker, I don't know if they still have it, but they used to have a thing called the mocker, which was, there was no side pockets. It was a welt back pocket, meaning just like a little tiny flap. There wasn't anything like external sewn on. And the pockets on the sides were just slit pockets that you slide your hands in. Maybe you can kind of get away with it because they used cotton twill chino type material for the kilt.
Yeah.
Or if you're using their Sporran or something, it's partly down to the material. Like a cotton duck, no, but a cotton twill, yes. Certain colors like camo green, no. Tan, sure. Black, maybe, kind of splits the difference.
Denim?
Denim. See, here's where I
Open up a new can.
here's where I say Well, denim, no, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do a denim utility kilt anyway. It just reminds me too much of a jean skirt. I can't do it. I own 2 utility kilts, but I still wouldn't own a denim one. What I will say is, now you screwed me up because I'm now
sorry.
thinking about being a jean skirt. It's creeped me out.
Insert that graphic here.
But I wouldn't. The reason why it works is because that a pair of nice jeans with a suit jacket, or a pair of khakis with a suit jacket works, is because it's not shorts. It's not showing the lower half of your leg. So I'm trying to get over that. And so if it's cargo shorts, hell no. But maybe if you're wearing like a seersucker jacket, you can, and you're hot and in Florida on your yacht, maybe you can wear, seersucker shorts to match. But it feels weird with a kilt. Are you picking up what I'm putting down, Mac, or no?
Yeah, I'm getting you.
So you're fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Let's start there. Can you make it work? Sure. Can you try? Sure. Is it gonna be varying degrees of success? Yes. But the thing that the baseline I would start with, the rule that I would put on all this is, if you're gonna try to wear a utility kilt with a jacket for an office casual, solid color kind of thing, then the simpler, the less pockets, the less doodads, chains, bells and whistles that the kilt has on it, the better it would work. I don't think it's going to work well, but it would work better than more heavily adorned things. That's my takeaway.
I'd agree with that. I think my takeaway too is you're also going to want to be very careful to keep that kilt looking pretty crisp. Taking care of it, giving it an iron before wherever you're wearing it. A lot of folks wearing utility kilts will often, we sometimes joke they're in Clan McWrinkle.
Yeah,
they treat them,
yeah,
but
yeah,
we're
yeah.
talking again more like the workman's type kilt. If you're doing stuff
Yep.
in the garden
Yeah.
and things like that, so
That's the funny thing is
you want it looking pretty crisp.
Yes, there's a lot of utility kilt companies like AmeriKilt. Rest them, God rest them, because they're no longer in business. Mike was a great guy. I liked Mike. The one thing that I hated about his, because I actually owned one of his kilts. I was one of the first 2 I bought. Was it would wrinkle and then hold, because there was no poly in it. It was just a straight cotton. So a cotton poly will wrinkle less. That is why some companies include a poly in their cotton poly blend, is because it won't wrinkle as much as a plain cotton will. So I'm surprised more utility kilt companies don't do a cotton poly so that there is less wrinkling, so it doesn't look ass when as soon as you stand up from getting out of the car. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
I think if every single person in our audience right now were to attempt this look and share their look, I think 90% of them probably wouldn't pull it off. And 9.9% of the remaining would be like, okay, I can kind of see it. I still wouldn't do it. And 1%, and yes, it's Jonathan freaking Kennedy, would pull it off.
Fair. All right. Mr. Mac, what do we got next?
All right, so lost my spot here. Well, let's do a shout out here real quick.
Okay.
Quick shout-outs.
Shout out.
We're not doing... Oh, by the way, we are not doing a Kilt Ambassador segment this month because Eric's the guy who does that, and we didn't have time to study it, so...
And out of
We're
respect
not
for our
doing it.
dearly departed Eric, we're
Yes.
gonna
Yeah, God
skip
rest his
that
soul.
this week. Month. Don't you do it.
So let's shout out to the Phoenix Games. Charles Marks is helping to set up for the Phoenix Scottish Games this weekend at the Gilbert Regional Park in Gilbert, Arizona. So if you're out there, check out the games.
Yeah.
He says it's going to be a great time.
Always.
And you can come visit with us while we're there. Oh, no.
No.
Rocky won't let us plan a trip in the beginning part of March.
I don't leave. I live 2 miles from here. There's no way I'm moving anywhere. I don't like travel.
And we got a question from JJ Davidson. But before we get to that question, It is his birthday this month, so
Oh, happy birthday, JJ.
yes.
I'll let you start the song.
So... All right. This is an insulting toast, and I'm gonna give it to JJ. I don't care, because I'm me. But it is my favorite toast, and I love it. And it's an old Irish toast. And what the hell is it? Oh yes, I remember. Okay. This is awesome. Here's to you as good as you are, and here's to me as bad as I am. But as good as you are, and as bad as I am, I'm as good as you are, as bad as I am. Slanja.
Gotcha.
All right, Mr. Mack, now that we've insulted JJ, what is his question?
He had it coming.
That JJ.
He knows what he did.
2 consonants in a row? What are you thinking? AJ, maybe, but JJ, never.
All right, so we have JJ, which is asking, is there a good color hose to go with both modern and ancient color palettes?
Good color hose to go with modern and ancient. I'll let you go first on this one.
I mean, the safe answer is black. Or cream, potentially. I'm not a fan of cream hose myself. But there's black in both. Outside of that, since I'm a color guy, I like to go with colors. I got the brown ones here. I'm trying not to flash anybody.
I've learned that. You're not supposed to lift your knees above the camera.
It's my first time in front, so give me a little bit.
Hey,
of
guys!
Come see my account at over.
Yeah. USA Kilts OnlyFans, now online.
Don't tempt them.
No one wants to see any of that.
I think with the modern, you really want to go with that tartan navy blue, bottle green. With the ancient, you want to go with the love it blue, love it green. I don't see the streams crossing there.
You don't like it? You don't like the close blending?
If you're only going to buy one pair of hose and you refuse to do anything else, black or maybe charcoal.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good point. If you have 2 kilts, if you have the scratch to afford 2 kilts, you have the scratch to buy more than one pair of hose.
Yeah.
Let's start from that point. What Ian is kind of saying and not saying is that he would prefer a pair of hose to match the kilt specifically, not try to do one to kind of split the difference. And if you're going to do that, then you'd buy one kilt and split the difference the other way, because the kilt's the expensive thing.
Yeah.
What I would say is kilt hose are $25. It's not like it's going to break the bank and be, it's unless you're buying super expensive hose, sure, but it's not the break the bank that a kilt would be at $300 to $500 to $600. So, yeah, don't worry about it. Get a couple pair of hose, especially if you want to wear your kilt 2 days in a row. You don't want to wear the same socks 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
But, Desert Island only allowed to have one pair of hose for 2 kilts, because you can take 2 kilts to the desert island, but one pair of hose.
Of course, you want to wear hose on a desert island.
Of course.
Like, it isn't going to be too hot, and getting all the sand in your hose would be a nightmare.
You'd wear the hose with your sandals because you're German, but
Yes.
it's okay. So,
The sand would wear away those hose and ruin them. I wouldn't want $25 for a pair of hose, and you're just going to ruin them.
can
in the
I
sand.
make my point?
Sorry.
If I'm gonna do it, either I like charcoal because it's a nice softer feel. I wouldn't necessarily go black. I don't go into the stark colors. Bottle green I would kind of do, but the stark black I don't do as much. I like the softer colors, and I love tweeds, so I like to balance it out top and bottom. If I had to do one for both, I would probably do either charcoal or maybe Love It Blue or Highland Blue, because it could kind of split the difference. Blue is a little bit more forgiving, but even Love It Green would be okay. But if I only had to pick one and it had to match both, and my wife was going to cry about it, I would do probably charcoal, because I don't have to worry about matching, and it doesn't matter whether it's a red based or a green based tartan. It doesn't matter. Charcoal matches anything.
Yeah.
That's mine. Very good. Mr. Mack.
All right. So we have David asking, with all the success of the Irish pubs, do you think a Scottish pub would have the same success?
Would a Scottish pub have as much success as an Irish pub? There are Scottish pubs. There are English pubs in America. It just depends on where you are or where you go. There's a place in Hellertown, I believe, called Braveheart's Scottish pub, and they buy a bunch of kilts from us, and they sponsor the kilt run at Celtic Classic. So yes, Scottish pubs do exist. It's not. I would say. Here's the funny thing about Irish or Scottish pubs. Most pubs with a theme like that start off with the best intentions, and they say, "Look, and I'm an Irish guy from Ireland. I want to open a pub because my town here in America that I just moved to, my adopted country, they don't have a good Irish pub. I'm gonna come up with the best Irish pub," and what they end up doing is opening it up, and it's very, very authentic for a time. And then what they find is the novelty of it kind of wears off for the locals. So everyone goes out, supports it right out of the gates, and then it's like, okay, it's the same thing. It's just Irish music again. Oh, I really want to hear some rock and roll in there once in a while. I want to hear some, and they go, okay, well then maybe we'll introduce, rock and roll Thursday night, or or the game Quizzo Wednesday nights, or karaoke Tuesday, and they start coming up with other themes for nights of the pub. And then what ends up happening is the Irish music section kind of gets squished to 1 day or 2 day a week. And then if it's a college kind of town, or there's a college near there, it's a novelty, but again, that's not the type of music the bar crowd wants to hear on a regular basis. And I'm speaking from experience here. Between Kildare's Irish pub, between Brittingham's Irish pub, between Molly Maguire's Irish pub, most Irish bars start off as an Irish pub and eventually kind of over time morph into a college sports bar with Irish decorations, is the way that I generally phrase it. It's sad. It's a fact of business, but the good ones, the ones that are like more frequented or kind of hold on to the authenticity of it, hold on a little bit longer and keep incorporating it in. And if you can make it past the 3-year mark ish as a bar, I think you're okay for a longer period of time. If it's a flash in the pan, it's difficult, and the quicker you try to tweak your thing or you change, okay, well, oh no, the last three Saturdays we didn't get as many people. Now we need to change the entire thing real quick. When you overreact and overcorrect, I think that's almost when you're in trouble. You just kind of have to introduce things slowly and let people get used to it, because it's difficult to go back to being a pure Irish bar once you cross the rainbow into the other side and you have, the Blink 182 cover band every weekend.
This sounds like a very specific experience you had. I don't know the story, but there's a story here.
I may or may not have been in the Blink 182 cover band. Now, what are your Irish bar experiences? What are your thoughts?
Similar. I would agree with most of those sentiments. I would say that the American palate is not quite ready for a truly Scottish pub. Like Scottish food. Most Americans aren't going to be in love with haggis.
We are. It's all deep fried over there, so it's fine.
That's true. If we're going for that kind of vibe, I guess people will figure it out. I've been to the worst version of this, though. Yeah. A little over 10 years ago, I was going down for a wedding somewhere near Bel Air, Maryland, and they had one of those tilted kilts. So if you're not familiar with tilted kilt, it's basically a Scottish dressed-up version of a Hooters. And I knew that going in. I thought, but they'll still have Scottish food on the menu, surely, and I can try it. Because I probably hadn't even had haggis yet at that point in my life, or some other things. I was hoping at least to get a Scotch egg. I'd had those.
Hooters doesn't have owls on the menu. Why would you think that? Sorry, Mac.
Owls.
Yes, Hooters, owls. That's what they based it on, right?
After the wedding, we went to the Tilted Kilt, and they had zero things that were at all Scottish on their menu. They had a bunch of Irish things, because most Americans can't tell the difference between Scottish food and Irish food, or accents or dress for that matter.
Or Scots and Irish.
Yeah. So, I ended up having a fine enough time, I guess. We were already a little drunk from being at the wedding. But yeah, that was the worst example of what a Scottish pub can be. I don't know if there's any particular place in America where there's a strong enough concentration of people that have both Scottish descent and are really looking for a truly authentic Scottish experience.
See,
it'd be tough. It'd be tough business model, but
here's
it's potential.
I disagree with you. Here's why. I think fish and chips, good. I don't eat fish, but a good fish and chips would go over well. And I think there is a curiosity, a morbid curiosity to a degree, about haggis, that if you had it as both a full meal, the neeps and tatties, the whole thing, and you also had it as an appetizer where people could spend $7 or $8 on it just to try it, just to say, I had haggis last night, and brag to their friends that they ate the weird Scottish food, then I think it could work in that way. And then you supplement it with, the regular burgers and chicken stuff as well. Or you have, curry, because they eat a lot of curry in Scotland. Yeah. But you have some authentic dishes and then some other stuff that's just kind of normal fare. So if you have a family and some kids, the kids have something that, they don't want to try haggis, but they'll have their chicken fingers and French fries.
So I guess the advice is if you have little finger food versions of haggis, maybe like little pastries that look like little meat pies
haggis
kind
balls.
of thing. Little
haggis balls, yeah.
Haggis balls, yeah. Fry them. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Now here's how I think it would
Scotch
work.
eggs would go over well.
Yes, Scotch eggs as an appetizer. That's what I'm talking about.
Now,
here's the other way I think it works. You have the area's biggest Scotch selection.
Oh, yeah.
The whiskey selection, and you're known for that.
Yeah.
You carry Scottish beers, English beers,
now you're
Irish
talking my
beers.
language.
Yes, because we're talking pub, we're talking bar. And then you bring in some of the food and you're going more that direction. Then, yes, then I think you could get known for that. You'd be a little bit more upscale maybe. But and you're doing finer cuisine, not pub food, but a little bit better food.
Gastro pub kind of vibe.
Yeah.
I'm feeling this.
So I think you can make it work.
So when the next expansion happens and we go to
from
the USA Kilts 2-story building to the tower, the Spring City world headquarters of USA
with the
Kilts.
top that rotates, so you can look upon the splendor that is Spring City.
And that's where the pub is that we're opening up. I'm liking this idea more and more. Yes, it's totally doable. Whoever asked that.
Now, Mark,
we're doing it.
Mark has pointed out that Denver has a pub called Pints that has over 220 different versions of single malt Scotch.
So next month we'll be recording the show from Pints in Denver.
We're gonna try all of them.
We never planned to make this a traveling show, but Mark just made it happen right now. Good job, Mark.
Mark, we'll send you the details to get our plane tickets out there for us. We'll we only have a staff of 8 that are gonna need to go, plus extra baggage for the equipment. It's fine.
And all the people to carry the baggage.
Oh, of course, yes. We only fly first class, just so you know.
So Mark, once you make all those arrangements, you can be the Kilted ambassador next month too.
We'll even let you come in live. We'll sign something for you. We'll have the 8x10s. We'll sign them for you. It's fine. No, if I ever send out 8x10s and sign them, shoot me. So yes,
you just said it out loud. People are going to request it now.
I know.
You got to be careful.
Looking out for snipers. No, but I think a Scottish pub could work. An English pub it's yes.
Here's the secret to success. If you're going to try to open your own Scottish pub and make a go of it, don't do too close to us because we don't want the competition in our USA Kilts World Headquarters Tower. But
even in the studio, we don't need competition.
Write and get our permission, but we want you to have Madame Tussauds style wax dolls. They're not dolls. What do you call it?
Mannequins?
Sculptures of Rocky and Eric, so that people can come and take their pictures with Rocky and Eric like they met a celebrity. That's really going to drive the business idea home. I'm full of great business ideas. Ask Rocky. I'm always coming up with them.
I will take a flamethrower to it and burn it down. I'll sculpt it off so I look skinnier than I am.
Well, that could be conditional upon the permission to grant it. Make it skinnier.
Very good.
Here's his picture of me from 10 years ago. Make it like that.
Yeah, look, Rocky has hair.
We're not cutting mine off to put on your neck.
All right, what do you got?
All right, next question is from our friend Richard Whittington. He says, how do you maintain an interest in kilts without becoming bankrupt? It's truly an addiction. He's asking for his friend, of course.
Of course.
Yes.
An interest in kilts without
Yes.
without it bankrupting you.
Yes.
Um,
So that you can't afford a pair of hose even.
You go first. I have thought, but I'll allow you to pontificate. Wax poetic.
I'm not going to share a thought so much as a cautionary tale. I did mention earlier my wedding was the first time wearing a kilt. I had come to Phoenixville to visit the shop, USA Kilts, and it snowballed. Eventually I worked here, now I'm on the show. It's 8 years, well, I guess it's almost 14 years since that first kilt purchase from Rocky and Kelly. And now I'm trapped and I can't get out. Rocky literally has me chained to the chair, and that's how I can somewhat afford kilts. They're still expensive, but when you can make them yourself, they're a lot cheaper.
So you just have to work here.
Yeah.
It's fine. So
Yeah.
drive in, apply.
Yeah.
And the other secret is we keep his wife and child locked in the basement so he can't leave.
I haven't talked to them in 2 years. Send help.
Shut! I get the gimp mask again.
Oh, God. For that OnlyFans page.
Yes, we're off the rails today. Now, in all seriousness, if you're looking to get into buying kilts and you don't want it will potentially become addicting. There are plenty of people who love this stuff, who
Catch
have
the
one,
bug.
then they want to buy, the ancient version of their clan tartan, not just the modern. Then they want to look at, Flower of Scotland's a beautiful tartan, and Isle of Skye, I love purple.
Gotta get the muted version.
Exactly. And Celtic Nations muted, wonderful tartan. So I would say this. Almost have a swear jar or something where you put money, or, at the end of the day, if you go out and, buy your lunch or buy coffee or whatever, and you make sure you're paying with cash, and then take all the change and just throw it in the jar every night, you end up saving money to do it. Have a little fund on the side, or divert X number of dollars from paycheck or whatever. Don't mortgage your house to have to go do it. But, it's all about saving up and doing it over time. You can, for the outfit itself, I would say, when it comes to the kilt, that my pat advice is buy the best thing you can afford. Again, don't mortgage the house, but don't buy something cheap that you're not going to like 2 years later. So if you're going to buy a kilt, the kilt is the base of the outfit. So buy the best kilt you can afford. But maybe you buy a cheaper buckle or a cheaper kilt pin or a cheaper pair of hose. But then, over time, you replace the cheaper stuff with more expensive stuff. But the kilt, which is going to be a much bigger delta in trying to purchase something, you buy the slightly nicer thing if you're waffling between two. Now, if you only have $100, then you buy $100 kilt. Again, you need to live within your means. But it is the thing that my 90 years on this earth have taught me is that it is rare that I have, if ever, said to myself after the fact, I should have bought the cheaper thing. I didn't need the nicer one. But there's many times where I've said to myself, damn it, I should have just saved up and bought the nicer one. I don't like this thing as much as I thought I would. I should have bought the other one. So again, it's and I don't care who you buy from. You don't have to buy from us. It's just a life thing in general.
So you you mentioned the swear jar, or at least the savings where you throw your extra change in the jar. I know there is at least one couple that's on the Kilts and Culture Facebook group that does that, the Irvines. I think we might have featured them once on the channel before, Elise and her husband. They do that. The trick is, and I can't quite figure out how to get other people to buy into this idea, if you can convince the people on the street, every time somebody asks you, what's under the kilt? What are you wearing under the kilt? If they have to then give you $1 to put in your jar, you're going to have plenty of kilts, and you're going to be fine in terms of your finances. I don't know how to get them to actually agree to give you $1, though, especially in a day and age where not a lot of people have cash or change on them.
Give me
Just carry a
$1.
square around.
Give me $1 and I'll tell you.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or, Venmo me $1 and I'll tell you.
And I'll give you my best quip.
Yes. I could see that. Now,
It's a great way to defray the overall cost of the habit. Like a better way to put it.
the addiction.
The addiction.
Now, Mac, can you imagine if I had a swear jar in my house,
Your wife would make you so
Kelly.
rich.
my wife is the sweetest person to everyone she just meets. And then when you know her, she curses like a sailor. It's hysterical. So, yes, I would have a lot of kilts if I had her swear jar.
Yes.
You do have a lot of kilts.
Fair point. I also have 20 years of doing it. All right. Who was
I
that?
think it's Mac's turn now.
Mac.
All right, so we have Steven asking, would it be better to wait until I finish losing weight before I purchase my first kilt? What is the weight difference that I can, like he's missing a few words there.
How much can he gain or lose? and
Yeah,
still fit in the
that's
same kilt?
I think that's what he's trying to get at.
Yeah. How much weight can you gain or lose and still fit in the same kilt? Should you wait to order your kilt until you've plateaued your weight loss program? It depends on a few things. One, are you on a time frame? Are you trying to lose weight for your wedding or something like that? If yes, you kind of, as a kilt maker, it's very difficult, and as a kilt company, it's very difficult to hit a moving target.
Yeah.
If you said, hey, I need this kilt in 10 weeks, and I want to, or 4 weeks, and I want to lose weight, so call me the day before you make it, and I'll say, it's difficult to do that.
Difficult to time it.
It's difficult to time it. If you are, and there's a lot of guys who will say, well, I'm losing weight, or not. I guess they wouldn't say I'm gaining weight, unless they injure themselves or something. But if they say I'm going to lose weight, sure you are. I've said that too. So it really boils down to how committed are you to it? How's your body's metabolism? How much are you actually going to go out and run? How much are you going to actually change your diet? So there's all these factors. And how fast do you lose weight? Are you going to lose? And it's not, to me, it's back to Ian as kilt makers. It's not the number of pounds you lose. It's the number of inches.
Yes.
50 pounds off somebody who's 200 pounds is a lot different than 50 pounds off somebody who's 400 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So we really have to deal in inches. I can't give you generalizations based on weight. So if you said, I'm going to lose 2 inches, which you don't really know, in the next couple months, we can adjust the kilt accordingly. What I will do for some people is if they say, look, I'm already on a diet, I've already lost, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches in my waist. I'm planning on, but before my wedding, which is in 2 months, I'm planning on losing another 2 inches. What I can do is say, okay, look, if you're currently measuring 40, then let's make your kilt to 38. So that way it'll barely fit if you don't lose 1 more pound. But if you lose 2 inches, it'll fit right on the middle hole in the strap. Or if you're in the middle of a weight loss journey, then we say, okay, we're going to make it to the longest, the biggest size, and then you can lose 3 inches and, go down a little bit. I don't recommend it, again, because you as the individual are trying to hit a moving target.
Asking us to hit the moving target.
Yes, and then asking us to hit the moving target, and then if you don't hit it, then you're angry at us for not hitting a moving target. So the ideal is you wait until you've plateaued, or if you've gone on weight loss journeys before and gone up and down and up and down, you wait till you're done and then kind of maintain for a period. But most people aren't that patient.
Yeah, especially if you do, like you said, have a wedding or an event that you need it for coming up, and it's a challenge.
Yeah. The other thing, and this is not meant to sound like a sales pitch, it's kind of going to, but not really. The other thing that has worked out for me, unfortunately, is I have fat kilts and I have skinny kilts. So I still have kilts.
I wish I didn't know about this phenomenon.
I still have kilts in my closet that will fit me if I ever get down to the 38 to 40 inch range again. And my current size, about 42 or so, is where my current kilts fit. Could I adjust the lower ones? Sure. I just don't feel like going through all of that until I'm, really haven't lost or gained any weight for a period of time. Mm-hmm. Mr. Mack, you got something to add?
Yeah, I think the other thing is we see this quite a bit too, is where people will say, I'm losing weight, so I'm going to wait. and next time we see them, I'm losing weight, and
Yeah.
it's they.
Some people do.
Some people do, and then there's a lot of people that don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we did the whole like weight loss challenge thing here a couple years ago,
Did we?
and well,
Kind
kind of.
Yeah.
Um,
Mac did it. We said we were going to do it, and then Mac did it. He lost weight, and we didn't.
I mean,
He won.
I did too.
No, we put it back on.
well,
Yeah.
I went from 250 to 2, and then gained about half of it back.
Yeah. Okay.
So I had to adjust the kilt that I'm wearing today right before the show. So I think it's one of those things where a lot of people have those good intentions of doing it, and I don't want to, deter anybody from doing it, because I need to get back on it for multiple
Health
reasons.
yeah.
But it's one of those things where we all have good intentions, but you don't want to keep waiting and pushing things off and not ever do it either.
No, that's a very, very valid point. There are certain things in life that it's, oh, I'll get around to it, or, oh, I'm going to get down to this weight. That's my goal. If that is truly your goal and you really want to incentivize yourself, then buy a kilt that's a little bit too small and shrink into the kilt. That'll make you actually do it.
Dangerous game.
I'm not saying it's not, but you're putting your money where your mouth is.
True.
And that's kind of the
True.
point. So, or you just say, back to the, fat kilt, skinny kilt thing, you just say, screw it. This is the size I am now. If I lose weight, I can always adjust the kilt and make it a little bit smaller. And it depends also on how close you are to your goal weight. If you only want to lose, 15 more pounds, or if you only want to lose 15 pounds total if you're not already on a journey, then sure, just buy it a tiny bit small so it still fits you now, but if you shrink a little bit, it's okay.
I'm just sitting here smirking the whole time, watching you two guys talk about it and staying silent. Because I'm the guy who physically takes the measurements from the customer and delivers them to the kilt maker. I get the brunt of this. So yeah, if you're in this category where you're like, I need a kilt soon, you got to have a realistic. And people ask me, what do you think I should do? You got to have you got to look inside and ask yourself that.
Yeah.
You say you're going to lose weight. Some people are serious and they do it. Some people are like, I say I'm going to lose weight, but there's really no plan. And they come back and they give us the new measurements and they're the same or they're bigger.
Yeah.
So you got to have that question for
Yeah, you got to have
yourself.
that come to Jesus moment with
Yeah.
yourself. Agreed.
Yeah.
And there reaches a point where it's just, you just got to do what you got to do. And it's whether that's either accepting this is the size I am, this is the weight I am. I'm never going to get a kilt if I keep trying to put it off and doing, and saying I'm going to get around to something, or nope, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to lose as much weight as I can, and then set a goal date, not a goal weight, a goal date, and say, all right, I'm going to do my damnedest from what's today? March 5th, 4th, somewhere, beginning of March. So let's say I'm going to say June 1st, period. I'm going to go in and get measured. So I'm going to do my damnedest to lose weight and get on a newer, healthier lifestyle. And June 1st, I'm going into the kilt shop, whoever it is, and I'm going to get measured then. So I would say set goals for yourself. Don't be unrealistic about your weight, but maybe just set, random, not random, but, a range of what you want to do. Try to accomplish it. Try to get there. And if you don't beat yourself up for failing. Just say, okay, this is what it is. Accept it, and then move forward and do something that you enjoy, i.e. get a kilt or celebrate somehow.
Yeah.
Yep.
The other challenge I get sometimes is customers will tell me, like, I'm expecting to lose 50 pounds before my wedding. What do you think, based on my measurements now, I should do later? And I tell them, like, man, to what you said about weight versus inches, I could have two men that are both 300 pounds and the same height and the same measurements right now. And they could both lose 50 pounds. And one guy loses it all in the gut and really brings it in a lot. The other guy loses it kind of more all over. He loses some in the gut, some in the arm, some in the leg, some in the butt. And they have very different measurements now.
Now I'm picturing a guy losing like 15 pounds in his face, but everything else is still there. So he's like the guy from Beetlejuice with the little tiny shrunken head and the big body. Yeah. No.
So there's no correlation between weight. I mean, some correlation between weight and measurement, but not a perfect correlation.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Ian.
All right. What do we got here? So from Steve Walters. lot of Steves today. I see a lot of things available in the various varieties of Buchanan tartan. Is that because there's a lot of people in Clan Buchanan, or is it just popular because of aesthetics? Do people just like the pretty colors?
Clan Buchanan has it's very unique tartan for a few things. One, there's a very wide yellow section, very wide red section, and then a green section, and it's kind of equidistant. It's a reasonably well balanced tartan. It is one of those that there are people in the modern version where it's bold yellow, bold red, dark green. People either love it or hate it. And there are a lot of Buchanans out there, and it's a great clan. And Kenny Buchanan, great guy, is the guy who runs around the festivals and does all that kind of stuff for Clan Buchanan. The modern Buchanan is only one variation of it. There's also ancient, there's also muted, there's also weathered. There's Buchanan Old, which is a different variation of a different set of the Buchanan tartan. There's Buchanan Hunting. There's tweed versions of Buchanan. So it is a uniquely, I will use the word pretty tartan. It's a nice looking tartan, especially in the ancient color palette. It's a very pastel-y, kind of well balanced design. In the weathered color palette, that's one of my favorite tartans. It's just a nice pale yellow, a nice salmony kind of red, and that brown and gray colors in there. They're three very unique, different designs, and they work in kilt wool. They also work in tweed. Like Martin Mills does a version of a Buchanan tartan in tweed. We have purses from Muckross that have Buchanan tartan in tweed. There's capes and things. It's just a very nice, pretty design. I'd say it, without trying to sound weird about it, it lends itself towards female stuff as well because of how bright and bold and nice and balanced the colors are. So it lends itself towards purses and women's things, but it also makes a great kilt. So I would say aesthetically, taking Buchanan Modern out of it, because some people love it, some people hate it. Even just the ancient and the weathered, it's popular because it's an objectively good design. And on top of that, add in that, yes, there are a lot of people named Buchanan. So it's kind of, chicken and egg thing, which one feed into each other. Thoughts?
It's definitely both. There are a lot of people who are either Buchanans or of descent of the Buchanans. I would say, too, I think there's something else that contributes to this, where a lot of clans of similar size have a tartan that looks a lot like Blackwatch. That bottle green, navy blue, black. Maybe theirs has a red stripe, or this clan that's just as big has a white stripe. So they all do kind of look not the same, but
similar,
very close.
Same vein. Yeah.
So from a fashion standpoint, the Buchanan is more recognizable. How many people at a glance are going to recognize the difference between Robertson Hunting Modern and Mackenzie Hunting Modern?
Or Lamington Forbes. Yeah.
So the Buchanan is distinctive. You're more likely to notice it. So there's a bit of a sampling error potentially here as well. Though it is a popular tartan for sure. But also, I think people are drawn to it. Like you said, there's strong feelings. So people are really like, oh my goodness, the stoplight look of that tartan is not for me. But some people are really drawn to it, especially, I don't like the modern very much myself, but the muted that's available in PV is really nice. I owned that one in a semi-traditional kilt for a long time. So I think there's sampling error, there's the size of the clan, plus it does have great fashion uses that distinguish it from Blackwatch and Scottish National and some of the other variants that all do look very similar. It's probably the biggest one that is distinct from those.
And it is also used in one of the comedy classics, best movies of all time, Spaceballs. They've gone to plaid. And in the background, that is the Buchanan tartan. That's Buchanan Modern that kind of washes over them in that scene.
We're going to have to add that discussion of that scene to the USA Kilts and Culture drinking game, where when Rocky finally brings up on the show, you take a drink, because I think it's like the third show in a row you've brought up that scene.
It's second, yes.
Second? Okay.
Indeed. All right, Mr. Mack.
I will say Buchanan does wonderful as books as well.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, they can't see it from where. There.
Over there.
Maybe right there.
Further down, though.
Can't see it.
So, if you really want to get a look at a really wild version of Buchanan, you got to take a look at the Buchanan inauguration. Brand new tartan designed to commemorate, I think, the new
clan
incoming
chief?
new clan
Yeah.
chief that's being inaugurated this coming October. It's recognizable as Buchanan, but it's bold.
Yeah, and there's also like Buchanan Blue, Loch Karen's done, which is a fashiony kind of version of Buchanan. Yeah, there's some cool stuff you can do with it. Yep, agreed. Mr. Mack.
All right, so we have Tom asking, in several older pictures that he has seen, the gentlemen were wearing two different colors of what looks like tartan hose on, and neither of them match the color of their kilts. Is there a significance to those hose?
Argyle hose that don't match the kilts.
He's saying two different colors, so I'm gonna guess they're diced. So meaning
Two colors, not like one
Two
leg is
men.
Yeah,
this,
no.
one leg is
Yeah,
that.
oh,
Okay,
no.
that would be weird.
yeah.
Even for then.
I'm assuming he means diced
Hose.
because
Sure.
you'd say
Yeah,
that. So
you can stand for this one. The British military would wear, the red and black. Is it red and black or red and white?
it depends.
Yeah,
Yeah, both. Yeah.
Red and black diced hose with black watch or whatever tartan. They're not. Diced hose do not have to be matchy. Diced hose, frankly, aren't usually matchy. Being matchy is very much an American thing and also a current day Scottish thing, where like the hire industry and the rental industry in Scotland, there's a lot of the matchiness is kind of seeping into Highland wear. But traditionally speaking, you didn't necessarily match things. Like you could have a yellowish brown tweed with a modern colored tartan, like a regular green and blue black watch kind of tartan, and it's fine. It looks fine. Same kind of thing with the hose. It wouldn't have to be, you wouldn't have to have navy and black or navy and green diced hose to match black watch. It would be red and white hose or red and black hose diced for black watch.
Now, for someone who's new to kilting, what exactly are diced hose? What exactly are Argyle hose that you did bring up?
Sure. Argyle hose think of like Argyle socks. They're like tartan on an angle, so it's effectively diamond shape, not squares. And Argyle hose typically are done using the same colors as the kilt. So for the kilt I have on here, if I were to get a pair of Argyle hose, I might have blue and navy as the main two diamonds, with, let's say, a red line in the green and a black line, a red line in the navy and a black line in the green, or something like that. So you're basically taking the pattern and using that color palette and then tweaking it and putting it on an angle, and those are diced hose. Generally, they're hand knit. There's not a lot of places that do them. We had one lady who used to do Argyle hose for us way back when, and she retired, and since then we just said, we're not doing them anymore because we couldn't find anyone else to do them.
So don't call me and ask for them.
But those are different from diced hose, which are just two colors, and it's kind of checkerboardy squares.
Yeah. Have the kids play chess on your hose?
Do you think Argyle hose are something of the past now, or do you think they'll eventually come back around?
It all comes back around because it's all fashion to a degree. I don't think that they've definitely lost steam. Two reasons. One, reason number one, because there's a lot less formal events, and you generally don't wear Argyle hose for day wear. You generally reserve them for more formal type functions. Two, they're freaking expensive because a lot of them are actually hand knit. And ultimately, if you put it in the context of everyday wear, you're paying $150, $250 for a pair of socks versus a pair of black hose or love it green hose or whatever that you can buy for $25, $30. To most people, $25 is fine compared to a couple $100 for a pair of Argyle hose. Having the Love It Green hose now versus 8 weeks for the Argyle hose. There's time, there's money, there's how many times a year are you going to wear it. There's also how many times a year are you going to wear it. If you're going to wear it once a year, twice a year, is it worth the investment at that price point versus something that you're going to be able to get more use out of?
I'd rather get another kilt than a pair of hose that expensive, or at least save up if I'm in between being able to get to another kilt. Yeah, that is. I think it's also difficult to match any kilt you might have. If you have a very standard set of colors, like we talked about, blue and green with a little white and red, it's not that hard to target to hit. But if you're like, oh, well, I have the 1852 muted variant of this tartan. I need the perfect match. It's going to be.
I was about to agree with you. Now I'm disagreeing.
Okay, but like I have Buchanan inauguration. I want
this
perfect hose,
fuchsia,
and it's got to be just right. If
Lime
you're concerned
green.
about matchy, it's tough. It's
Now-
a moving target again.
Now, it depends on the company. Now, when we used to do the diced hose, this is before you were in the store, we would actually we would ask the customer for a swatch of their tartan and send that to the lady that knit the hose. So she would actually buy the yarn or have the yarn I don't think he had dyed, but in theory, she would get the yarn to match the actual kilt fabric. Now, where I thought you were going, and I was about to be like, yeah, that's a good point, so I'll make it, was if
I'll take credit.
if you have two tartans and you have a modern and an ancient version of the same tartan, then the Argyle hose would only really match the one, not the other. So yes, you wouldn't get as much use out of it for
Do you want to
multiple
buy
kilts.
$250 pairs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
Exactly. Now, but in fairness, in that kind of situation, odds are you'd say, okay, this is the one that's fancier, or the 8-yard versus the 5-yard, or this is the one I'm going to wear to fancier, nicer events. This is the one I'm going to have the hose match. And then, boom, that becomes just like your jeans. These are my dressier jeans. These are the ones I, mow the lawn in. This is my nice suit that I'm going to wear to church, and this is the one I just wear, whenever I need to dress up a little bit. Make sense?
Yeah, my thinking with dressing up with kilts is generally to let the kilt be the main show, and I tend to go solid colors elsewhere, as a rule. Not always, not 100% of the time, but solid color shirt, solid color tweed, solid color hose. It makes it easier for the kilt to do the work. And if you've got diced hose and a kilt, and you've got like some kind of patterned paisley shirt, and we're starting to go back to recreating the worst look possible. It's too much.
Yes, you are.
It's too much. So
I would say a paisley shirt with any kilt is too much.
I would tend to agree. But if you're going wild with the patterns, it could be too much. And I'm the most annoying customer to myself, in that I like the colors to be just right. So if those hose come in and they're 90% there, I'd be annoyed.
Fair.
So now we do have as a continuation of the question, Eric from outside the room is also asking, are diced easier and cheaper than in the long run than Argyle?
Did he use a Ouija board? Is he from the great beyond?
Not cheap.
Yeah, no, diced hose are not much cheaper than Argyle. They're essentially similar. So, yeah.
Had a few people inquire recently. They wanted to do hose tops because they thought it'd be a less expensive option, and they're not much less expensive.
Yeah.
And they don't really make sense if you're not doing spats too. So.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed.
Yeah, not a lot of good ways to do this kind of look on the cheap.
Yes, but public service announcement for today: don't wear a paisley shirt with your kilt, please. I don't care what Ian says. It's not even funny.
And don't even put it on just to take a picture to post in the group.
Don't even joke about
taunt
this?
Rocky. Did I just get a
Yes,
demotion?
definitely don't do that. Another public service announcement. We're extending store hours. Ian will be here till 10 o'clock at night, every night. Be sure to stop in around 9:45 and then talk to him about a full package. He'll love it. He doesn't mind at all. Mr. Mack. No, that was you already. Mr. Ian.
Turnaround is fair play. Let's keep it below the knee here. So our friend Dean Morris asks, should hose flashes be exactly on the side or just sort of? He says he sees a lot of guys wear them nearly in the front. Is there a 100% correct standard way to do it, or is you do you an appropriate response to where do the flashes go?
Sure. There's a range that's acceptable. And there's also British military regulations. So I'm not in the British military, but to the best of my knowledge,
Yet.
the
Not that
nationality
attitude.
might be an issue. Age, weight might be an issue. Think of your leg. If you're looking down at your leg, specifically your right leg, we'll do that example, as a clock. So 12 o'clock is dead on the shin bone, 3 o'clock is dead on the side, 6 o'clock is the back of the leg. British military regulations are, and Mac, correct me if I'm wrong on this, the edge of the flashes should be at 12 o'clock, the edge, so that it's in line with the shin bone, kind of wrapping around to the 2 o'clock spot on the leg. Many civilians would wear their flashes in the 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock kind of position, or the 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, like square on the side of their leg type position. So that's why I say there's a range. There's a way that it's traditionally kind of done, but there's no, within that range, there's no, oh my God, you're doing it wrong. Stop, please, you're embarrassing yourself. Any of that is kind of okay. Now, if you put, one, flash on the outside of the leg and one flash on the inside of the leg, no, don't do that. Do not put them in the back. Do not put them both square in the front. But they should essentially be slightly off to the side, somewhere between 12 and 4 o'clock on the leg.
Don't put the mid-thigh and then ask one of the groomsmen to then remove it for you at the wedding.
That was a gag. That happened to me at a wedding.
Did it?
Yes, it's a lot of times if you're wearing a kilt to a wedding, if the DJ kind of is in the know, what he will do is for that gag where you have to remove the garter, when they blindfold the groom, you get the guy in the kilt to sit in the chair and then he put the garter on and feels like his wife's hairy leg. No.
So you've talked about a range. What do you do?
For me, I usually lean it a little bit more forward.
Okay.
So I'm not necessarily square on the edge of the shin, but definitely in the 12:30 to 1 at most range. I definitely go a little bit more forward. And I've moved it forward over time. I started off putting them, flat on the sides.
Yeah.
But the older and more curmudgeonly I get, more traditional kind of leaning, I kind of move them forward a little bit.
I would say when I first started, I was firmly centered on 3 o'clock, the center between the two flags.
Right.
But as I've grown more curmudgeonly, I guess I don't think of myself as particularly curmudgeonly, but let's go with it. I've shifted around more like 2:30, maybe as much as 2, but probably more like 2:15, 2:30.
As the center of the flashes?
Center, the center. Yeah.
Got it.
So 2 to 4 to start, and now more like 1:30 to 3:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
How about you, Mac? What are you doing? Do you ever wear flashes?
Right now, no, I don't have any flashes on. But when I do, yeah, it's more kind of they're right on an angle. So I'd say probably about 1:30.
1:30 is the center.
Start?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Indeed. I agree. Good.
Okay.
Very good. That's what we do. Hope that helps. All right, Mr. Mack, what do we got next?
All right, so we have Mick asking a question, and I think this is a little different for us. He says, "Hi guys, I'm thinking of dipping my toes in, but really don't like the look of a sporran.
Okay.
Is it sacrilege to think this? Is there some other option? Is a kilt sans sporran just not done?"
Do you have to wear a sporran when you're wearing a kilt? He said he's just dipping his toe in, he's just starting to wear the kilt. So, or about to get started. I would say this. The longer you wear it over time, the more you kind of develop an eye for what looks good and what looks less good. When I first started wearing a kilt, I would just to put my chain out, I'd build pockets for the back of it, I did all kinds of crazy crap. Would I do any of that now?
Crazy
No.
Utes.
Yes, you damn kids. They're crazy chain wallets. And they're U2 cover bands. Or Blink 182, that's who it was. So
don't go bad mouthing YouTube. We're YouTubers.
no, U2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll
Gotcha,
badmouth
gotcha.
U2 all I want.
Go for
My
it.
wife
No
loves them. I
complaints.
can do it,
You better
yeah.
hope your wife doesn't watch this show.
She doesn't care. She gets enough me at home. Hey, what the heck was I talking about now?
Crazy Utes.
Mac, what was the question again?
Sporrans.
Sporrans. Do you wear a sporran with a kilt? Yes.
Yes.
You develop an eye for it over time. So, do you have to? No. If you didn't, could you do something else as a sporran? I never did. There are some people who will say, "Oh, yeah, you can wear a fanny pack," or we don't call it a fanny pack in the UK. That means something else. But a hip sack, a bum bag, as it were, as a sporran, or just to carry your stuff. To me, it just has screams of 1984. I wouldn't do it. Or 1988. I wouldn't do it. Would you? A kilt just looks right with a sporran. You need something there in the center. The sporran helps you when you're sitting to kind of, help the front apron fall between the legs, helps hold down any unsightly bulges, shall we say. It also is practical to help you carry your stuff. If you're wearing a utility kilt and you have pockets, then no, you don't have to wear a sporran. Some guys who wear utility kilts want to wear a sporran because they like the look of a sporran. If I'm running around in the shop or I'm just running to the warehouse for something and I'm sitting down most of the day at my desk and I have a kilt on, would I wear a sporran? No, I usually take it off, and then if I'm running around, I just run around without a sporran on. If I'm going out somewhere, if I'm going across the street to Wawa, if I'm going into the store to speak to customers, I will absolutely put my sporran on because it just looks right to a degree. And not that you can't do it, it doesn't. It looks a couple degrees off. Somebody might look at you or me or whoever in a kilt outfit. Let's say you're wearing a sweater and a kilt and hose and flashes and ghillie brogues, but with no sporran. They might look at it and go, something's missing, and not quite recognize what it is, but something does look like it's missing. Thoughts?
Yeah, my first reaction was, I'm gonna answer your question with a question. What kind of kilt are we talking about? If it is a utility style kilt or some other form of contemporary style, it's a little bit more commonplace to not wear a sporran, especially if you have other options to keep things. The practical thing of just having somewhere to put your stuff cannot be ignored here, of course. In my current role down in the store, I make a point of wearing my sporran all day. There's things in it that I need. It helps complete the look when I'm talking to customers. When I was just a kilt maker here and I was wearing a kilt, I'd be wearing my sporran on my way into work because I was stopping at Wawa or what have you. I need it on me. But the minute I get to work, it's in my way. Like, the cutting tables are high, so banging against the sporran, I immediately take the sporran off. It's in the way. If you're doing any kind of practical work, potentially going sans sporran is the way to go, at least situational.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Mr. Ian.
It's my
We'll
turn
do
again
one more
already?
from you and then one more from Mac.
Oh, one more. Who of these people am I going to disappoint then? I have a hard time saying that name, so let's not do that
Just your
one.
mom. Wow. Went right to the mom joke.
Wow. At least you didn't say dad. Okay.
I'm not that dark, dude. Oh.
Let's go with Scott Kreckman's question. He says, my question pertains to strategically sitting down in a kilt. I speak at a monthly meeting where I'm usually on a stage. I want to wear my kilt, but also don't want to flash anyone. Is there a way to strategically sit down comfortably without showing the world ...
Yes,
everything?
exactly. You can't rewrite the laws of physics and geometry and angles. So if you are sitting, if we were sitting up here and the kilt was at this level, there's a reason why. The camera angle is where it is, and it cuts off right around the knee, unless Ian tries to show you his socks. So it's, yes, you do have to deal with physics and geometry and angles and where people are, where their eyeballs align. What I would say is this: the best thing to do for sitting down when you have a kilt that I do, no matter where I'm going, is when you have a sporran on and you back up to the chair, back up to it, bend your knees so that you're standing in front of the chair, and kind of in one fell swoop, you are bending your knees with your back straight. You're pushing back against the chair so your pleats just kind of drape on the chair and they're not getting bunched up. At the same time, I have my hand on my sporran pushing it down between my legs as I'm sitting down, and then you man spread a bit so that the Sporran falls between your legs and you're pushing the apron down. If your aprons are a bit taut, what you can actually do is pull the under apron over a little bit so it's not wrapping around this side of this leg and kind of falls a little bit more between the legs to maintain a little bit more modesty. That would be my tips for you.
Yeah, I would say you can't go a middle road. You either need to be, knees tight, really close together,
Which is not comfortable.
and not particularly great look, or like you say, man spread a bit and push down.
Yeah,
Sure.
not so much that you're encroaching upon your neighbors, but just move your legs a little bit. Hopefully you have a little bit of room, especially if you're on stage. You probably have plenty of room. Yeah.
And now I know this is blasphemy to some of you, but in this scenario, maybe consider some underwear.
No, absolutely. The underwear thing. To me, it's blown out of proportion. It's a fun bit of shtick, but especially if you're going to grandmom's house and you're sitting on a low couch, you don't want her, viewing the twig and berries. So wear a pair of dark underwear. If you're going to be high on a stage or on a low couch or something like that, it's not as big of a thing as you think.
Especially
Frankly,
if you know you're going to be on that stage.
yes. The only person that it matters what you're wearing under your clothing should be you.
Unless you're showing everybody.
Yes, and you don't want to, if you're performing on a stage or giving a speech or whatever, and there's other performers, assuming that you're sitting down so somebody else is going up and doing something, you don't want to be the distraction where everyone in the audience is like, hey, you see that dude? You don't want all of those things. I'm just gonna start scatting too now. So anyway, yes, you don't want to be that guy. I know you don't want to be the guy. That's why you're asking the question. Now, the other point I will say is the type of chair. If you have an option for what type of chair they are providing you on stage, you could do a stool. So where you're leaning more, you're not fully seated in the chair with your knees at 90 degrees, but you're kind of, like
tilted back.
Yeah, you're on a stool, kind of sitting up, and your cheeks are on there, so to speak, but your thighs are still pointing down towards the ground. Yeah. There's a lot less likelihood of that happening. So that would be another good thought
on how
for
close
you.
people are to that stage.
Yes, true, but it's better than woohoo! Look at me.
Yeah, I guess my response to this is, again, to answer your question with a question. You said this is a monthly event. Do you have any power in whatever this organization is, or are you a guest at this event repeatedly? Like, do you have the ability to change the setup on stage?
Yeah,
is what I'm getting at. If you're a guest and you sit where they tell you to sit, then yeah, you got to come up with some of these strategies. But if you have the power to say, hey, let's reorganize our whole stage situation, maybe consider having kind of like a little bar you can stand at off to the side, you and the three people that are waiting to speak, and that's more of a standing kind of a situation if that's not too cumbersome or too difficult to plan for the event.
You put it in your rider.
Yeah.
You need like a 6-pack of Guinness, Jelly Belly jelly beans.
Only blue ones.
Only blue ones. Blue jelly beans or M&Ms? You're thinking M&Ms.
I'm thinking of M&Ms, but I was trying to.
It's kind of creepy, sure.
Creepy?
Do they make blue? I guess
There's got to be a blueberry jelly bean.
Yeah, probably.
Especially Jelly Belly. That's
way
like
off
a jillion
topic.
flavors.
And then the third thing, stool on stage.
Yeah.
That's it. Good.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Mack, one more from you, and then we'll do the question of the day.
All right, this one I think could be interesting here.
Uh-oh.
So we have Renee asking, have we ever thought of making our own line of Scotch?
Ooh.
And what I'm going to add this part in.
What flavor profiles?
And
will
what?
we do?
Yep.
Dill pickle.
I would do dill pickle Scotch just to piss Ian off. Just to hear him complain about it every single day. No, I've never thought about making my own. See, my neighbor brews beer, and he makes all kinds of different beer. And what ends up happening is he'll always have me, try this, try that, try that. And half the time it's, I don't think Mark watches the show, so it's pretty good. He'll turn that way. Oh yeah, that was a really good one. No, it's I'm being facetious, but he will always try different things, and what he has said is, yeah, I still got this. I made it. I have to suffer through it. I don't really like it, and I would hate putting any amount of time and effort in. My time is already too short as it is. I would hate putting time into brewing beer and then finalizing it and hating it and throwing it out, spending all the money on all that stuff anyway, and then just go out and buying a case of, Dirt Wolf anyway. So for the Scotch, that kicks it up a notch because we would have to figure out what the heck we're doing or find someone who knows what the heck they're doing and then wait years for it to mature unless we use granddad's old method of sticking it on the window. We have to wait years for it to mature, and then if we didn't like the finished product, I'd be furious.
Yeah.
Or not furious, disappointed. I would be deflated.
And
So
you're doing like a 17-year aged Scotch. Now, not only are you mad that the one you took 17 years to age isn't good, you've got 16 more years that are sitting in the barrels waiting to now restart the process of tweaking the recipe.
see if
Now, you probably don't start with a 17-year if you're starting. But
depending on how let's say it's a 10-year. It's depending on how angry I got, it would be a Hulk meets Prohibition era anger at barrels, just smashing stuff to get rid of all the Scotch that I didn't like. All right, let's take the anger and the unsurety out of it. Let's go in the Max part of the question. Let's say we have Nancy Fraley, who's a master Scotch blender.
Okay.
We have her. She's our friend out in California. We have her, and she says, "Okay, here's 10 different Scotches. We're gonna do the different flavor notes, and she's gonna do it for us, and she's gonna make sure it's a good job, and we're gonna love it." So, what are the flavor profiles we want to put in our Scotch? Now, do we do like weird avant-garde stuff, or do we do like to actually try to make something good? Let's do weird. Let's do weird. So,
Asked and answered himself. I don't know. I don't stray too much with my Scotches. I'll try any kind of weird beer you'll throw at me.
you just didn't want to try the pickle Scotch.
But with whiskeys and Scotches, I tend to kind of go back to the standard styles.
There's the peanut butter Scotch that Jason brought in the one time, which I tried and I was like,
whiskey,
okay,
not peanut butter Scotch.
whatever. Yeah. It wasn't bad
Hardness.
for what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've tried some beers that would stretch the believability that it could even be considered a beer and liked them. Some beers I really don't like. I don't like every beer, but I'll try most beers. But with
It's really not
whiskeys-
an investment though. It's like $6 versus
with
whiskeys $40, $60.
Whiskeys and Scotches, I tend to go back to the same barrels, so
Yeah.
to speak.
Okay.
So I don't know that I'm well
I'm
equipped to
thinking
answer
maybe
this
what about like a smoky haggis flavor?
Smoky
I hear
haggis
you.
Scotch. Okay. I see where you're going with it.
I want to see somebody else do it. I don't know that I want our name on it, but I'm interested.
That's fair. That's a fair point. It's protecting the brand. Okay.
I'm intrigued. I'll probably hate it, but I will try it to find out.
Okay. Here's the other one I'm kind of going for. And this could almost be a cocktail potentially.
Okay.
This is either the worst idea I've ever had
I'm
or
gonna mix my
spectacular.
Scotches.
A nice, reasonably, no strong flavor profile, not an ILS, nothing super smoky or super peaty or anything like that. Just a nice, well-balanced Scotch with iron brew.
Funny you mentioned that. There's
For the
someone
sweetness.
someone else mentioned iron brew flavor that is in this room right now.
Really?
That isn't in this room right now.
Oh, fair enough. Nice.
So
So the no, but I could. I don't know. I don't know if that would be horrible, or okay. Let's not mix them together. But what if we just you could buy the Coke syrup and then you just add the fizzy water and it makes Coke at
now,
McDonald's or
are we
whatever?
talking about the space flavored Coke or the?
No. What if we just got the iron brew syrup and instead of a honey kind of flavor to it, we just put in the weird St. John's aspirin kind of flavor.
What are we making? Scotch for children? We have to sugar it up.
Hey, Liam, try this. You'll love it, buddy. No, but like,
I'm a purist when it comes to Scotch. I do not mix it. If I want a mixed drink, I'll grab a bourbon, especially a cheap one. Scotch is drunk neat or with just a very small amount of water, and that's about it for me.
it's
I'm very vanilla taste when it comes to this.
I'm shocked and disappointed knowing you and your
I know,
your penchant for trying weird
I'll try
foods,
weird-
weird
yep,
drinks,
yep.
weird beers,
I-
like Scotch, just flat lines.
Yeah,
Yep.
I can't explain it. I don't know what made me this way.
You're an enigma wrapped in a riddle. All right, Mac, what's your flavor profile for a weird Scotch?
Banana.
Yeah, banana. Yeah, that'll go over well.
He would love it once.
Yeah. I'm just also seeing some of the comments come in here too. Haggis was definitely mentioned here a little bit. Band-Aid, but intentional.
Ban them from the comments.
Somebody did say
Tell
fruity.
Sean to knock it off.
Somebody did say fruity pebbles.
Okay.
Like tequila with the worm, in the bottom of this bottle of Scotch, there's a bloody Band-Aid. It's great. Gotta eat the Band-Aid, Liam. Yeah.
I had a Fruity Pebbles, unintentionally Fruity Pebbles beer once. I had a friend ruin a couple of beers for me. He said, there's a beer I liked, Leinenkugel Sunset Wheat. And I liked it. This was back in college. And a friend said, oh, it tastes like Fruity Pebbles. I'm like, shut up. No, it doesn't. Damn it, he's right. I've never drank it since.
Fair. Yes. All right. So, sorry about that. If you have a favorite flavor of Scotch, let us know and make it weird. Okay. Question of the day. I got a good one. So, we're going to do something different. We're going to try. We'll see what happens. Next month, we're going to read what the answers were to the question of the day. So if you answer it, we're going to give our top answers. So we might read your answer for what the answers were to the question of the day.
Be good.
Exactly. So what next month is going to be, our show is going to be on April 1st, which is right before Tartan Day. So the question of the day is, do you celebrate Tartan Day? And if you do celebrate it, how do you celebrate it? How do you incorporate it in your life? Tartan Day, for those who don't know, is April 6th. So let us know in the comments, how do you celebrate Tartan Day? Very good. Thank you, boys and girls, for watching. Until next time, Slanjava.